Hey, Tracy with Legacy Woodworking Machinery here. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the T-slot table. Now, one of the things that makes the Legacy CNC different and more versatile than any other system is the fact that you can configure it any way that you want. Set it up to do any type of project that you like. For example, when you're using the vacuum table, you can do sheet processing. But there are times when the vacuum doesn't work. For example, small parts processing, rough wood that doesn't seal real well. If you're doing some inlay or some moldings, those types of things aren't conducive to the vacuum table. And so we're going to use a T-slot table to hold that down. So the question is, why use a T-slot table as opposed to a T-track different? What's the difference? Well, first of all, a T-slot has an aluminum track, and it'll typically go along one of the axes. I've seen a lot of them that go along the x-axis, which, to be honest with you, doesn't make a lot of sense, because if you have a long part that's real narrow, you have to clamp from the ends of the part. Whereas if you run the T-track across along the y-axis, then you can position that anywhere along the part to secure that at any point. The T-slot table doesn't have an aluminum track at all. You simply cut the T-slot, and you can cut it in both directions, the X and the Y. So when we put our clamps in, then you can come in from any direction to hold the part. Works extremely well. Plus, this table, it doesn't have the aluminum track in it, so you have to worry about hitting that with your router bit and destroying the track and then trying to replace the whole thing. This is simply like a spoil board. Simple to make. It's out of MDF. And then you just cut that in, and if you cut into this and ruin it, it's very easy to replace the table with a new part. Legacy has designed the LoPro clamps to work specifically with the T-slot table. They're designed not to clamp over the top, but actually from the side of the parts. The LoPro clamps have two parts. One is the stop, and the other is the actual clamp. And now these can come in from any direction. So if we wanted to put them, for example, we want to put the stops along this slot. And you can turn this to either bite it at a high position or a low position, or simply on the sides so it doesn't mark the wood at all. And we can take the clamps and bring in from a different direction. Or of course they could be along the same. You can set it up any way that you want. Now we'll take a piece of wood. Let's set one here, and then we just lock that down. And then you advance the clamp about a half a turn is all it takes. Once it makes contact with the wood, about a half a turn, and that's secured your part ready to go. You can see the clamping from the side, so you don't have to worry about anything on the top of the material for machining. We can use the spoil board or waste board in here as well, a spacer if we need to cut along the edge. But these clamps are designed specifically to push down on the part as it clamps it, instead of just pushing straight in, which tends to lift the part. So it secures it very well to the table. Now you can download the files from our website under the customer support files to cut the T-slot table, but you got to keep in mind that this table is designed for the new set of tables where all the components, the vacuum table, the spoil boards, the T-slot tables, are only 2 feet wide. And that makes it very easy to take parts on and off and change out your system very quickly. But you have to, if you're going to cut this table, you have to cut all the tables so everything matches perfectly. To cut the table, you'll need 3 router bits. You'll need a 1/4 inch spiral upcut. You'll need a 3/8 spiral downcut, and you'll need the T-slot. Now the setup is quite simple, but it's important you do it right. The XY datum position is going to be in the corner, as if you're sheet processing, which is how we would do this. And if you're using the new pin locator systems, of course, it makes it real simple to just put that into position and it's ready to go. The other part you have to do is set the Z0 position or plane at the bottom of the part. So it has to be on the table, not on the top of the T-slot table. Once that's ready, you can load your program and start cutting. Once you've cut all the parts, of course, you can remove just the sections that you want to remove. Remember that this new set of tables, everything is in 2 foot by either 4 foot or 3 foot sections. In other words, your vacuum table is sealed off for just one zone at a time. So we could take off just one zone and still have 6 feet of vacuum, or we could take off 2 and have 4 feet and 4 feet, and so on. Or you could replace the whole vacuum table with the T-slot tables if you need the full length. You can set it up any configuration you want. One of the advantages this gives you is that you have now access to everything that the machine will do. For example, we can machine our parts held on the table itself, or we can instantly go to the vertical table, obviously, for doing joinery and things like that. But we also have access to the turning bay. And so if you got the turning center here, you don't have to remove this table to access that. It's always available. And if you have the optional X-axis clamp that goes along the side here, vertical clamp that goes in the X-axis bay, you have access to that as well. The combination of the T-slot table and the LoPro clamps makes it easy to clamp any shape or any type of project. For example, if instead of working on just a straight simple piece, like a sign or something like that, we might have something odd shaped, like a circle, or in this case, a guitar. So we can easily set this up to clamp it in place as well. So as you can see, the T-slot table may be the perfect way to set your legacy CNC up for furniture building, because you have access to the turning center, the vertical joinery for our vertical workstation for joinery, and also the horizontal table, which you can clamp all types of components to as well, and it can be set up at any length at any time. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.